What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpolia sitting on the couch, making some money investing in fractional real estate online. As usual, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the alchemy that is the liquidity pools on Lofty. I've sort of avoided this topic quite a bit because I still really don't get it, but it looks like I've put together a profitable, pair of trades here. I think I probably got lucky. I mean, I know I didn't really know what I was doing going into it. I want to talk about it a little bit, let you know exactly what happened, and then what I'm curious about is this repeatable, right? Does this situation come up? Like, um is there some way to continue to do this? Are people actually doing this? Like, I'm curious about this. So, if this is something that you're already onto and you're doing it a little bit, feel free to jump in the comments or in the Discord and let's talk about this a little bit because it's a way, um, it's either a way for all of us to make a little bit more money or, what so far for me, liquidity pools have been a way to get tokens trapped and to get a little bit of rewards, but they haven't really been that useful. But I thought this was a really odd situation. I don't know how often it comes up, but let me just show you. So, um, I don't know, 3 days ago. I talked about what I did this during my, 52-week challenge, what I bought this week. I bought one token in this property. Um, you can see it's at $41 right now. It was at $18. Well, it was at $17 and change when I noticed it, and I did so quick due diligence and thought that's crazy cheap. Let me just buy that $17 and change. With all my fees, it cost me I think like 18.35 or something. I'm gonna do a little bit of math about this in a minute. Um, but so I was digging into like trying to figure out well what happened to make this move. And I was looking on Lofty Assist where they have. Oh, well, I don't have that page up right now. Let me see if I can find it. Let me just. Yeah, there we go. So like if you look at the page on Lofty Assist, it gives you this, you get this pool info. And so I could see there was like $50 in the pool. And it turns out I talked to some people who understand this pool stuff better than me. It looks like somebody had just taken their money out of the pool. And paid whatever penalty they had to do that. But so that's what tanked the price. It wasn't from transactions. It was from so much USDC coming out of the pool. Um, So I thought, oh, I'm going to buy a bunch of tokens because it's $18. Well, I bought one token and it moved the price up like $5. So I wasn't going to buy a bunch of tokens because the slippage was killing me. And so I was like, well, this is it's a different situation than I thought. So let me just throw some money in the pool. Um, I had not a whole lot of cash at all in my Lofty wallet. I had $277.57, right? But that there was only like 50, somewhere around $50 in the pool, so I got a whole bunch of these USDC tokens for that. Um, as soon as I did that, it moved the price up further. Uh, but I didn't notice that right away, and it should have occurred to me. But again, I'm not good with the pools. But so it moved the price up quite a bit. Somebody else noticed and sold. A couple other people noticed and sold, and then I went and sold mine. So I think I'm not sure which one of these. I'll have to look and see which one. Actually, I think this was me. I think only one person beat me to it. But let me look at my math here. Yeah, this was actually me. And when you look, when you pull up the numbers, the rounding doesn't always match exactly here. Well, actually though, yeah, because that's with fees, right? That's the total. Um, or net of the fee. So I ended up selling that right away, made a little bit of profit on that, right? That was $6.89, but like really good ROI, right? 37% in like an hour. But it only happened because I had put all this money in the pool. So I'm like, oh, well, great. Did I just do something dumb, right? Am I going to lose that money? Well, over the next couple of days, it's only been a few days, I made $5.50 in rewards. And now the price of this is all the way up to 41. And like you can see, you've just had buys, and this was really confusing to me, like why we have these buys moving the price up. Um, I have no idea what's going on there because this is like the highest that it's traded in a while. I read in the Discord. I couldn't figure out any good reason. And actually, like M1 was in the Discord and he said, "Yeah, I drove by this. I don't like it at all." So, he was like, "I don't like the area. I don't like the siding. The condition of it." So it was really strange for me. So I don't want to leave my money in this long term because really I don't understand the pools. But I'm trying to experiment, just like I'm doing with all of this. But I've been even more careful because the rest of fractional real estate, I can sort of point my real estate investing expertise at and have it help me, avoid some of the pitfalls. Here, it's like I'm a baby, right? I'm just crawling around in this minefield and I have no idea what's going on. That's weird imagery, right? Baby in a minefield. But anyway, uh, before I forget, please like and subscribe. In the description to this video, I have links to all the places I'm currently investing on fractional real estate online. Please do your own due diligence on all those links. Just because I invest in them doesn't mean that you should. Some of them say they'll give you money and don't actually give you money. Most of them do, or only Lofty is the one that at the moment isn't really giving you money, but they say they're keeping track and that sometime in the future you might get that. Um, but anyway, also that's where the link to my Discord is. So if you want to jump in and talk about this, let's do that. But anyway, one of the things that's confusing to me is it's showing up as if I have 900 or $293 in the pool. I knew I didn't have that much in my wallet. So I went back and I looked on Allo, right? And I looked at the transaction, and I didn't. I only put 277 bucks in, and this is what I had remembered. So I can't figure out uh, why it's been showing the higher amount the whole time. And so it's like, okay, today I was like, well, what happens if I just take this off? And I think I'm just going to take it off, right? So I just said, okay, let me just withdraw all of the USDC I have in this one. And it says it's going to charge me a withdrawal penalty, but it's giving me credit for this 293 where I only put in 277. Um, and so I'm going to take out 286.74 basically. So I don't know. I got to this today and I was like, is this really true? Because this seems not true. In my experience, liquidity pools just take my money. So I'm gonna try to see if I can withdraw this and see if that actually works. Because like I said, I mean, this number makes no sense to me. It's not the number that I put in there. This is the same number, like this 997,255 is very similar. Oops, I keep going back to that wrong one. Let me close that tab. Is very similar to it's almost exactly this number, right? So this is what I got in that transaction. Um, I don't know if I mentioned it. So what I was looking at on this is the actual token purchase, my purchase and sale. This is in Lofty Assist. It's like the wallet scan section. This is really great to look at your past transactions in a way that like makes sense to a human. At the moment, I think it's not working correctly with credit card purchases still. But if you're someone who's just done it all through your wallet, I think this data, at least when I look it up, it all seems perfect. So I was pretty happy to that Limas has made this and that um, it's working as well for as it is for me. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. But so this is where like when I go back and I want to see like, oh, was that right? Was that actually what I purchased and sold for? And I think that that's accurate. Um, and this is interesting, right? Like when you see that how they rounded on that sale thing, it said 2540. Uh, but like they do all the little points, so it really they just knock off the ends but don't round it, which I think is kind of funny. Not great, but just so anyway, I'm gonna try to do this right now while I'm talking. See, will it really let me take that out? Because if it is, like, I just made some free money, right? I'm gonna go over the math of it. Um, I mean, it seems really broken if that's how it works. 'Cause yeah, the thing that's most broken about it is, yeah, the 293. Oh, what happened? Did it do it? Um, well, let's see. Okay, maybe it didn't do it. Maybe it is broken. Oh, no. Okay, so I put the cash back in my wallet. Let's go and actually see what that transaction returned to me because I'm super curious there. Yeah, I got the 286.70. So I actually got that money back. So I made that profit. That's so strange to me. So I don't understand where that 293 number came from because it was basically showing me I'm paying a penalty to take this out, but I'm taking out more than I put in. So I don't understand how that they say that's a penalty. So yeah, let me go over the math of this real quick because I mean this turned into a really interesting little trade, right? Where okay, so I bought the token for 1852, sold it like an hour later for 25 bucks. Made less than $7, 37% ROI. But this only happened because I put this other money in the pool, right? Like this wouldn't if I hadn't put this money in, that price move wouldn't have happened. Um, I got, but so okay, 37% on that transaction, and then on the staking, I put the 277.58. I got $5.50 in rewards, and those are rewards that I pulled out. So I unstaked it and then just got this amount, right? And that's the 286.74. Yeah. Um, and so only $14 profit on that, right? But that's a 5% return um, over the course of having my money in that pool for 3 days. And so, if I look at the thing in total, invested $296. I received 317 bucks back. So I made 21 bucks. Not a huge profit. 7% ROI. Again, not huge ROI, not a lot of money, right? But again, trying to experiment here. Like, I think if I can figure out how to manipulate this just a little bit to help me do slightly better deals for stuff that I'm already trying to be in, I think that'd be fantastic. Maybe I just got completely lucky here. I think that's possible. But if you look at this from an XIRR perspective, one, I didn't do it on each deal separately because you can't put the same day in on here and make this make any sense, right? Like if I made that 37% return in an hour, it doesn't even know what to do with that because you're just putting dates in, right? Um, but so this first date is actually, all the money I put in the pool, the money I put in to buy the token, and then taking out the money I bought. Is that right? I think I did it wrong too. Let's see. So let's see. Yep, I did do it wrong. Okay, so this is, I think, gonna look even better. Let's see. Okay, so it is all the money that I put in the pool plus the money that I bought the token for minus what I sold it for. Okay, so that was my first day's investment. Yeah, and then that looks more correct, right? Because it should be 20 bucks difference in there, $21. Yeah, I mean, so this is just stupid, right? Like, I mean, this XIRR, it just makes absolutely no sense to even think about that because obviously, I don't think that we can just roll this over so quickly, right? But like, what if, what I think happened here is I got really lucky with these buys here, right? These buys made no sense. Like, I have no idea why somebody bid it up to the point that they did, to a price higher than it was before. But if there was some reason for me to believe that, hey, this is going to move up quickly, or even not quickly, right? Like maybe I think that, okay, it's underpriced and the token's going to come back and like what if it's going to be a 3 month process or I think it's going to happen the next time. I mean, this is just a stupid amount. It doesn't even make any sense, right? Because you're making 20 bucks in a few days on your, so you're making 7%. Yeah, because you get to keep compounding it, right? I'm not doing my IRR wrong here. No, invested. And so this is, like I was saying, this is the net on that first day. So it's like everything I put in. um And so it's really like I made this 688, so I'm subtracting that from the 277. Uh, there's got to be a better. I don't know. I mean, there's not like as far as I know, you can't do date and time for XIRR. Maybe you could. I mean, if you could do that, then obviously I could get it much more refined. But I mean, the point is like that. Whatever it is, even before it looked stupid, it was like 1,000, 1,200% or something, or whatever it was. I don't know, but it was already a ridiculous number. Um, but return on time, I made $20 for whatever amount of time I spent on this. Definitely not worth my time. I mean, to a certain extent, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I probably spent more time on this video than I did on actually doing these couple of trades and whatnot. And if I'm paying a lot of attention, but I think that there could be instances where there is a very, so this just happened because somebody pulled their USDC out of that side of the pool and then moved that token price to a price where I'd be happy to buy that token. I think that could happen on ones where I could buy more and the slippage didn't make this insane. Because like I didn't make much money on this at all, even though it's a great percent, because it is one, I could have done better, right? I could have sold it for that higher price because I missed out. Because I didn't realize, and I should have realized right away, but I didn't, that it was going to move the price up. And so if they did four at 33, if I had just done the one, I don't know. It probably should have been even higher, right? Because by doing four, they pulled it down a little bit. Um, so could have done a little bit better on this token side, right? Like maybe made an extra $10 or an extra, yeah, probably made an extra $10, I think, actually, which is kind of ridiculous in that short period of time. But then also too, like if this were a bigger pool and there were more money to be put into it, or if I mean, I don't know. One of the things I'm not sure if I had staked more, I mean, I'd own a bigger portion of the pool. It might have taken longer. I guess it would have taken longer for me to take it out. Um, but I really think this only works because there were these sort of stupid purchases in there, and like, so I don't know. That worries me, right? But I think at least I'm really curious. I'm really hoping to start a discussion with some people about this. Am I thinking through this completely wrong? I think that's possible. I think I just got really lucky from the situation. Um, but especially being someone who's not interacting with the pools very much. I mean, mostly I had just been staking property tokens that weren't paying rent anyway. And I had thought, oh, well, there's no real downside. And then I realized the downside is, well, the price went up and my tokens got stuck in the pool or it started paying rent again. And now I'm not getting paid nearly as much. So, I mean, which is one of the reasons that I've started looking at that info a little bit more. Let me find that again on the on this Lofty Assist tool where it gives you like um, it's telling you whether or not there's a deficit in the token liquidity, whether or not there's going to be a penalty to withdraw. Like, look, you can see now there's a penalty because I just took mine out, and I did. It said a penalty before, but my penalty was it was weird because it was actually less than it should have been. It wasn't really a penalty because I got paid more than what I put in. So I don't really understand that part. If you can explain that to me, how it's a penalty when I made money on it. I mean that's just weird. Uh, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up. Try to figure out. I'm gonna just keep experimenting with it. This is where I think I add, or I'm sure I add the least value as far as any of the fractional real estate stuff. It has absolutely nothing to do with the real estate itself, other than I did some due diligence on this before I started buying any tokens to make sure I believed that the $18 or the $17 was cheap. I should have if I had checked the slippage first, I probably never would have even tried to buy it because I didn't realize like each token purchase was moving it up a stupid amount of money. Um, and so I probably just would have left it at that. But because I went and did some work on it, then tried to buy some, and then I was like, well, what is happening here? It made me decide, okay, let me play with this a little more. I'm probably going to keep doing this. Um, for some of you that are like me that really have no idea how this works, maybe sharing this is going to be helpful. I'm sure some of you are just laughing like Joe just has no idea what's going on here, which is true. Like the thing that's baffling me the most is how they think I have a penalty, but they paid me back. I got back more for what I bought than what I put in. I mean, that's the part that just doesn't. That's what was really confusing to me and what made me decide, like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to share this a little bit. But also just that, I think there's some room to, if I'm going to invest, some of the thoughts I have about like how this could be useful. If there's a property that is like really lacking on the USDC side and the token price is low, and it's one that I think I want to buy that and hold that property for a long time. Which, if you know my opinions on properties on Lofty, there's not a whole bunch of those, right? But let's say there's one that I think it's in a temporarily bad situation and it's going to turn around, and somebody's pulled their money out of the pool. Uh, that's definitely a spot where I think it makes sense to buy tokens and then shove money in the USDC side. Um, but if I do that, so this is what confuses me, because if I did that first and then bought tokens, well, no, it wouldn't matter, right? Because if I'm buying, um, the USDC is not getting paid on that; it's getting paid on the sell. So I don't know. You can tell I'm really just trying to work my way through this. Um, those of you that are experimenting with these a little bit, I am curious. As much as I'm just trying to focus on the real estate side, I keep kind of coming back and dabbling with these because. Um, More than anything, not because I want to make money in the liquidity pools, but I want to understand how they're going to impact my profits in the token trading, right? I mean, most of the money that I've made on Lofty is on very short-term moves. Now, a lot of it's been buy the token, sell the property in real life, and that's been working pretty well. Um, where the real life market's slowing down, and some of those deals are not happening as easily as they were just a couple months ago. Um, Buy the token, fix the fundamentals of the property. Is, as part of that, is there an additional benefit to be had by, putting money in the underfunded side of the pool? I mean, this time it worked out, right? Well, like I said, I mean, I think I got really lucky with those four dumb buys. And if you're one of the people that bought one of those tokens, I'm sorry to keep calling them dumb. I just don't understand, like, that it's been trading for significantly lower than that, and then all of a sudden, people bought four tokens and moved the price up to so it really worked out for me, right? I mean, I could have had this money trapped in there for a lot longer. Although even that same day, with a little bit of a price move, I noticed that I could take out a lot of it without a penalty. So it's really strange because I have money stuck in other pools where it's just like a ridiculous penalty. I guess what I have to do though is go back and look, like, is it really, or did I not put as much money into that pool as as it's saying I did? Because I mean, clearly it was wrong, right? I mean, it was telling me 293, um, but but all I put in there was the 277. Like, I only did the one transaction, and that's what I remembered it being, and that's what it is here. So I don't know where it got the other $16. I mean, that's one of the things. I don't know. I mean, maybe does that, does the USDC side accrue some additional value? I mean, I'm not sure. If you know the answer to that, put that in the comments. Um, but yeah, that's really it. Obviously, like I said, I mean, not an expert in this part of this at all, and really just looking for some thoughts and advice, and hopefully starting a little discussion. Because this is the first time I've had something work out really well. Like, I have some where, I've had these ridgetop ones in there a long time, and I've made 7%, probably in like half a year. But this is one that pays out great rent, so I think if I really do the math, I might not even be up on this one. Um, this is kind of a funny one because it says I've lost money, but it's because I pulled the money all mine out, and so then it always screws us up. I actually made money on this one. I pulled it out with no. Oh, but this was tokens. But on the USDC side, like some of these, like this one, it's going to keep like half the money. But now I'm going to have to go back and look, like, well, how much did I actually put into this? Because I think the answer might end up being I didn't actually put 164 in there. I don't know. If you know why that happens, right? Like why it said I had 293 when I only put 277. I understand like the trade for tokens aspect, but I didn't think that it would like change the amount that it said that you had. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just how it works. and I haven't been paying enough attention to that. That was super weird, right? Because I didn't pay a penalty. I got more money back than I put in. Anyway, that's about all I'm going to say about that. Um, Let me know what you think about this. Is this something you want me to never talk about again because I'm really not adding any value? Or like, do you have some interest? Are you like me and you really just haven't figured it out yet? And if you did, if that's the case, we need to find someone who really gets this stuff and pressure them to help us understand it better. Because at the moment, that's not me. I'm not the guy that's going to really help us work through this. Yeah, this 90 Madison one, this has been a terrible one for me. I've lost a bunch of rent and hardly made any on trading fees. So I haven't had this in quite so long, but I mean, it is like, I don't know, it wasn't a great one. I probably shouldn't be staying. And that was the tokens, right? Not the. Then I did have some that did pretty well in the time that I had them in there. Peoria, I took all of them out without penalty, and so I just got some free money on that. And there was never paying rent during the time I had them staked. So some of them did okay, but for the most part, this has been like just a way for me to destroy some money. So finding a transaction that worked out so well made me wonder, like, is this worth spending a little time on? Especially because Lofty hasn't put out any new properties in a while, so nothing to analyze there. I'm waiting for the next mogul deal. Trying to always just share what's going on, whatever I've got going on that day. But this is, I've spent way too much time thinking about this today, um, trying to figure out, like, I really think this is just like I just got lucky in this spot, right? And it was like, oh, free $20 for doing, for waiting 2 days and really doing nothing. Um, Not even understanding exactly what I was doing as I was doing it, but sort of like talking through it with a couple people, kind of figuring out what's going on, although still not fully getting it. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Um, until next time, I'm going to keep making mistakes. Not on this one, though, but I'm going to keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.